Well, again, we've talked about this 1,000 times. They're looking for an outside thing to fix an inside problem.
We have to change the way that we think. We have to change our perspective. We have to quit running from things when they're hard and hoping to find that pill that will just fix us, and trusting the big pharma and that they're out to help you, because it's not the case. And if history has taught us anything, you look back on any kind of medications, they're taken off the shelf after a period of time, after people die, and it's what happens. It's just
then there's like a commercial later. If you were involved in this medication, there's a lawsuit.
Yes, it happens all the time. And just like with the jab, they say, take it, you got to take it. You're SOB if you don't take it. And people were lining up. People were lining up. Oh, they said we have to, so come on.
Go.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to Talk Hard Podcast, where we like to talk hard about all things, including things we shouldn't talk about.
That's right. Okay.
Welcome to the show, guys.
That's perspective.
We have a great, amazing, probably controversial show.
We are live.
We are.
Gosh, he's messing up everything today.
I thought I'd change it up a little bit.
No, you can't.
We are live right now in Baltimore.
Okay.
That's the first thing.
This is probably the perfect place to do this.
Oh, Baltimore? Because, guys, we got a great show. We're probably going to get canceled because of this show, because I just found out less than 30 seconds ago that we're talking about the only, the culprit in all illnesses, in all sicknesses across the West, the Western culture.
1,000%.
I think that...
I don't think I know.
There's a couple of corporations and companies and whatnot that are solely responsible for a lot of our problems in America mainly.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about Big Pharma today.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to talk about Big Pharma today, and there's a purpose behind it. So this isn't just...
Hold on, please, Big Pharma, don't come after us.
No, knock on my door. Let's have a conversation about this.
Let's sit down and chat about how you
on our next shirt run. On the back, it's going to say, let's talk about it. Because let's talk about it. I'm down to talk about it.
Did you just now come up with that?
I am like a plethora of ideas.
Did you just pop that out, though? Was that like something you already thought of?
Yeah, no.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's our new slogan. We should
talk about it, yes.
That's our new slogan, Chris. Can we spam the crap out of let's talk about it? All right,
I love it. So
so first more, Brian.
Yes, I am still Brian Gordon.
I'm Marty Norman.
Yes,
Brian.
Yes,
let's talk about it.
Okay, I love it. Here we go. Our new intro is going to be no longer live, but we're going to talk about it.
Let's just talk about it, man. Because listen, from not understanding or knowing exactly where you're going to go down what rabbit hole you choose to go down on this, like, I have a big problem with Big Pharma. I have a big problem with a couple other government organizations. I have a big problem with what's happening, and what I fail to understand is how, as we as Americans, how informed and how smart we possibly could be on information, right? We can get any kind of information we want, and we need to choose where we get our information, of course, but like, how do we not see that Big Pharma is so corrupt?
So psychology became like huge in the 80s, right? We started to see a mental health shift in the 80s. Psychology took a big shift. Psychology's been around since the like mid to late 1800s, right? Like that's when the big psychologists became quite famous. Like they really started to study the brain and understand why people are the way they are, because we started to get more advanced in some technologies and have the ability to test and check things out. In the 80s, it became big, and what they started to notice is as we started to pump all of the antidepressants in, was that a lot of money came with it.
Yeah.
So
with money
comes power, with power comes corruption, with corruption comes the rest, right? So I've been noticing a pattern, but before I even get into this, for those of you that have been listening to our podcast, I want you to listen to me very, very carefully. If you don't believe in the power of manifestation, here is actual proof, because I have been speaking about this. And I am not Nostradamus, and I can't force people to do things.
Are you sure you don't believe that?
Well, I mean, maybe. It is possible, I guess. Because at this point, I'm starting to feel a little powerful in my manifestation, right?
So good, yeah.
Like, I have been hyper-focused on the patterns of the world and what has been happening and how to create change, because that's the whole point of this podcast. We're trying to create change. So I've been hyper-focused and meditating and manifesting and focusing, okay? So last week, we talked about Ozempic. That just happened to be something that I wanted to do at CVS as like a prank, right? It was just a funny thing to do, right? As I'm researching more about this, because I thought I would dig deeper, somebody else launches something which is a Coke whistleblower. And he brings up.
Oh, the Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So he brings up Ozempic and their big push during that podcast. Then I'm flipping through the channels and I see another picture, which I'll pull up right now and show it to the camera. It came from, I made my wife take a picture because I don't want to get up and get my phone. Now, the skinny shot, right? So here it is. It's called the skinny shot now. And no, this is ABC News is doing a special on Ozempic and the other big new weight loss that's quick. Okay. Now, I know a lot about when it comes to diet, exercise, and what this would be considered a steroid. Okay. I have done steroids.
Okay.
There is a way to do any drug properly.
Sure.
Blood work, tests, measures, levels. You check your hemoglobin, you check your thyroid, you check everything. Like you run a full panel.
Yeah.
If you want to get into the safest version of pushing your body to the limits. So clenbuterol is also an asthma medication, which is actually what Ozempic is.
Oh,
the side effect of it is that it burns fat. That's what helps people that are suffering from.
Well, it's because asthma. Your heart runs 1,000 miles, 1,000 beats a minute.
Right. So, but it helps burn off the excess fatty tissues and a lot of other organs in your body that affect things, and that's why it helps asthma.
Okay.
So they're pushing this as the new quick weight loss. I'm going to tell you right now, there's no such thing, and it is extremely unhealthy. So if you want to take clenbuterol properly, every professional in the world will tell you 6 weeks.
Tops.
That's because it can be very damaging to the body because you're shutting down your body's other abilities to burn fat. You're going to mess up your thyroid. You're going to mess up your heart. There's so many side effects to taking this medication long term.
I think that's across the board though, right?
Of course it is.
Yeah, that's across the board.
Well, what they're not understanding is that they're pushing this as like a long-term medication.
Sure.
And you're going to end up stuck on it and they know it.
And they don't care.
It's going to end up becoming a lifelong. This is what you need to maintain weight loss. This is how we're going to get America healthy again, right? So, or you could just eat properly, stop being a lazy ass, and maybe do something about your life and eat clean foods. We just talked to Brian about this. He didn't go do this crazy diet program. He just cleaned up the food that he was putting in his body.
Yeah.
And your body responds to that the way it's supposed to for thousands of years when all this other stupid crap wasn't out there. Yeah. I just had it was my wife's client that went to like Spain or France and came back and was like, there are no overweight people there. They're very hard to find.
It's true. It's true.
Like it was shocking to her because she was like, I literally was confused.
You can't go anywhere in America without seeing obesity.
Nowhere.
Right? You can't go anywhere. You can't go to any gas station. You can't go any store. You can't go to any restaurant. You can't go without seeing a direct. And that's the thing. Like, again, this is what these organizations and relying on outside, big entities, big pharma, if you will. Mm-hmm. This is what the danger is. They've always created a problem. Mm-hmm. And this is historically. I could name 5 of them right now where they create a problem, mm-hmm. and then the same people that created the problem create the solution.
Of course.
So it's just money across the board.
Absolutely.
And then that solution is they never want to end that solution. And the same thing, say they created the obesity problem in America, right? The FDA, the separate Monsanto, all these different companies that all pretty much work for the same people, the same 5 families, and their whole goal is to make us sick, make us docile, make us dumb, make us be good slaves so we can go to work, and that's it. That's all we need to do.
Absolutely.
And hopefully with the food they feed us that we will get sick, we will get cancer, and we'll be on their medications.
Again, my manifestation brain is like just firing on all cylinders right now because we just talked about this.
Yes.
Like we literally just talked about the things that you're bringing up right now when I brought up, 2 weeks ago. If you want to improve your life, become great at solving problems. If you want to make money, become a good problem solver.
Oh, there you go. But
so, if you get hold on, now they're solving 2 problems.
If you get corrupt,
so now it's double the money.
If you get corrupt, you create the problem.
But think about it. They first have said, we have your problem solving. We're going to go ahead and cure your weight problem with this drug. And then later on, when you're having other problems, they're going to say, well, now you need to take this drug and it'll fix that part. So this is just like a nonstop.
Your liver is shutting down.
We're fixing your problems, and people will always pay to have their problems fixed across every board. That is why Amazon is as big as it is, because we're very impatient. We want things now. We don't want to go anywhere. We feel like life is overwhelming us. And Amazon, because they solved that problem, instant gratification for a decent price, they're unbelievably big.
If you just look at problem creation and problem solving in the realm of recovery.
Well, if you don't believe in the money pumping that happens inside of big companies, then cocaine was literally inside of Coca-Cola, but they were so large at the time.
Can you imagine
that the FDA just had to find another way to keep them around? Think about that for a minute. Cocaine was an actual
in Coca-Cola
ingredient in Coca-Cola.
Sure was.
That was sold in America.
They couldn't figure out why. They just couldn't stop drinking it.
But they became so big that the FDA was like, we can't shut them down.
Right.
We're going to lose stupid hundreds of millions in tax revenue and job loss. And like, we will go under fire if we do this. So we have to keep them. So we literally let Coca-Cola pump cocaine into people and then said, well, as long as you just change it to a less harmful, not harmful, just less, then it's okay. So instead we'll give you 95 grams of sugar.
Just so you know, the effects of sugar are probably equal to the effects of cocaine.
We were going to get into this later, because I firmly believe that the addiction problem that we are facing in America is partially stemmed from the fact that we get kids so addicted to sugars and candies and all these other things that we are messing up their bodies before.
High fructose corn syrup.
That the addiction's already started, because everybody knows that sugar is one of the most addictive substances on the planet. When you pump these kids full of sugar and then they can't deal with the world.
Jess, do you have high fructose corn syrup in Australia?
I don't know if it's that, but sugar. I also just wanted to state
sugar's different.
That every addict craves when they get sober.
Sugar. Absolutely. It's the one thing that eases what they're dealing with, because it's the other thing that, in my opinion, started a lot of this.
Well, a lot of alcoholics mainly, and heroin addicts, because it's brain receptors for heroin addicts, right? For alcoholics, we're so used to ingesting beer, which is largely sugar.
Right.
We're so used to ingesting beer, and that's what we need. We need sweets after that.
Beer, whiskey, all these things have sugar in all of them.
Amounts.
So when you put the two together, it is a deadly combination. Not to mention, when you put the two together in that kind of a form like that, there's a reason why alcoholics suffer one of the most deadly addictions when it comes to relapse and the seizures and the other problems that come with it, because they have fried their brain at that point.
Yeah, and then the liver and all that stuff. But, this is the what I was talking about a second ago is, so Big Pharma creates a problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and if we're going to talk about recovery a little bit, like Big Pharma created the opioid problem, right? Purdue in particular created the opioid epidemic that was sweeping the nation, and pill mills and then they had lobbyists and pharmaceutical reps going into every doctor's office on the planet, especially in America.
Oh yeah.
Just, passing this OxyContin off as a safe, non-addictive alternative to pain medications. And, the way they did it too was slimy as hell, right? There wasn't just some guy like me or you going into these doctor's offices. It was a beautiful,
they had the most attractive women and men.
Yes,
that were extremely good at manipulation and
that's
sales.
True. That's like you hear about, but that's actually true.
They were pumped up with like trips to Paris and all of these crazy things and fancy cars and bonuses that were equivalent to a whole income for most of America. That was a bonus.
And they would walk into these doctors' offices and then just like woo the family doctor there, and next thing you know, he'd be prescribing. There's all that. But then the they came along, put some regulations. They started to see that people were getting horribly. It took them a long time on the addiction scale to realize that OxyContin was highly addictive and that people were dying and losing their lives and ruining their lives because they were so addicted to this prescribed OxyContin, right? So then they put a lot of restrictions on it. The FDA, the food, the family, they put these restrictions on it and they cut everybody. What essentially happened is overnight they cut people off of their prescription OxyContins that they were horribly addicted to it. So, right. And at the same time that happened, heroin was everywhere, right?
Well, I remember they first reformulated it, right? Because I was allegedly selling them.
They didn't reformulate it. They kept it.
They made it where you couldn't smoke it because that's the problem.
They made it because you right. They made it so you couldn't snort it, right?
Yeah,
but you can, right? You just got to put it in the oven,
right? Yeah, we believe me. If you want to try to stop an addict from doing a drug, you got to do way better than that. It takes a little more time where you couldn't snort it, couldn't put it in your syringe or whatever. But we figured it out. But still, at the same time, that didn't change anything, right? So then they reformulated, and then they just put on the restrictions. Like they realized it was too many people were dying, too many people were addicted, too many lives were ruined because of it. And then all of a sudden, Big Pharma comes out with the cure for this, and that's called Suboxone. Yep,
and that's called, you know what I mean. And then they start.
I don't know if anybody's ever detoxed from Suboxone, but I have.
I have too.
It is brutal. I would rather do a normal detox off of any heroin, any opioid, period. I would rather do that for the 4 to 10 days that you deal with like the worst of it. There's long-term effects, but the worst of it is between 4 and 10 days. At least it was for me. When I did the Suboxone, it was 2 months.
Easy.
Crapping my pants and not being, the chills were gnarly and like the stomach ache and I couldn't eat and I couldn't think straight. Like it was way worse.
So Suboxone is 50 times harder to kick than heroin. I can kick heroin in 5 days. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Suboxone, and the only reason I went through the Suboxone withdrawal is because I was in the county jail. That's the only. I would have got better. I would have got well. I would have got me something, right? But the only reason I did it is because I had to. I was forced to, and that took me every bit of 30 days just to be able to get up and move around.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but. And I'm not against you if you're on Suboxone. Just I want to say that out loud. Like, I'm not against anybody who's on MAT, Suboxone, methadone is. I don't understand why methadone is still on the market, but whatever. I'm not against you, man. I'm just against these providers and these doctors who are doing the same thing that they did with OxyContin back, in 2010, 2009. They're just basically writing scripts for every single person that comes through the door that just claims that they... I know doctors and providers that give Suboxone to meth addicts. I've known providers, and I would love to just spit their names out, but I know providers that have got people on Suboxone who are alcoholics, and I'm blown away by it. I it's unethical as far as I'm concerned in my book, to get an alcohol. You basically just turned an alcoholic into an opioid addict, right? So first and foremost, I'm not against you if you're on it. I'm just against the way that it's happening. And
I am not against medication at all in its right place and time.
Right.
Period. Right. I believe that medication has a purpose.
And that's the other thing too, is like there's no like, hey, I'm going to put... So we use Subutex and other medications in our detox process, in our detox, right? We use it 7 to 10 days. After 7 to 10 days, you're going to put on a comfort meds for a few days, and then we're going to walk you all the way off of it, right? That's our goal, is to walk you off of all narcotics.
Yes.
That's why you're here.
Yes.
And these Suboxone doctors and these Suboxone clinics, they're putting people on it and they have no intent of walking off.
No.
It's just like with that medication you just said a minute ago. Yeah. This is for you. You're going to need to be on this the rest of your life. Yep. And we're going to make sure that you're going to be on it for the rest of your life because it's so damn addictive.
Well, here's the thing, is it's an instant weight loss, right? What they don't understand is that it's going to turn into, you're going to need it for the rest of your life. So they may not be quickly advertising it that way, but it's coming. That is the next thing coming, because right now and for a good while now, I've seen Ozempic on the commercials.
I haven't seen it.
I've seen them, and because it's Ozempic, it's got like a catchy little. They're smart about it. Psychologically, they're very smart about their music tone, their advertising, the way that they've worded everything.
Yeah.
There's a whole psychological team that comes up with the advertising metrics. Guaranteed.
Same thing with Suboxone.
Guaranteed. Yep. They're very good at it, right? And it is for asthma. It was serving a purpose. What they noticed, just like Viagra back in the days, which was a blood pressure medication, until a bunch of dudes were like, hey, I got blood pressure problems because their sex life changed, right? So everything has its purpose, but
Chris,
Ozempic...
You know what we're talking about?
Yeah, Chris knows. And he doesn't have blood pressure problems. You know, I can sing the whole dang song because I've heard it so many times.
That's horrible.
I mean, this is what I encourage people to do. A, take a minute and read the side effects.
No, you know what? You don't need to even do that, right?
No, do it because it'll scare the crap out of you.
It's just
if you actually read them.
The thing about going to the doctor and just taking whatever they give you and getting the prescription, man, like typically, I would say 90% of the time you're going to the doctor telling you want a medication. Hey, I saw a commercial.
Yeah.
I saw a commercial for this. And
I'm still going to get it at CVS one day. Yeah. One way or another, I'm going to convince those people that if it's on a commercial, I can buy it.
But, you know, it all comes back to lifestyle and behavior changes. It's just like with addiction. It's only thing you're doing by putting, you know, again, not against you, but if you're getting Suboxone, you're just putting a Band-Aid on cancer. Mm-hmm. Like you're trying to change your life and your behavior and what's going, you know, obviously something bad is happening in your life and your behaviors and you're not getting right. You can't get right. You're losing jobs, you're losing relationships, you're messing your life up. You're who knows, legal troubles, DCS problems, whatever. So you're like, okay, I need to get my life right. And then you get on another opioid.
Well, again, we've talked about this 1,000 times. They're looking for an outside thing to fix an inside problem.
We have to change the way that we think. We have to change our perspective. We have to quit running from things when they're hard and hoping to find that pill that will just fix us and trusting the big pharma and that they're out to help you, because it's not the case. And if history has taught us anything, you look back on any kind of medications, they're taken off the shelf after a period of time, after people die, and it's what happens. It's just
there's like a commercial later. If you were involved in this medication, there's a lawsuit.
Yes, it happens all the time. And just like with the jab, they say, take it, you got to take it, you're SOB if you don't take it. And people were lining up. People were lining up. Oh, they said we have to, so come on.
Here's what I'm going to say about
quit relying and listening to these people.
C drug. What I'm going to say is when you start seeing celebrities push things, it's because that's what America trusts, right? If they're doing it, we're all going to do it. Because if they're okay and they're rich and famous and their lives are perfect, then we all have to do it. That to me is a panic mode for me. Yeah. If you got to go that far to get me interested, then there's something wrong. Because everybody knows if I want to start a watch company, the first thing I'm going to do is go find every famous person I can.
Absolutely.
And put it on their wrist. And as soon as it gets recognized, now you've got global sales because this is a global thing. So they know how to push it. If it actually worked, it sells itself. But it doesn't work, and people are starting to catch on to that because they were not involved in the first set of commercials.
Well, the thing about that is they created a problem.
And hold on, when the hell has depression been a debilitating factor in the sea? Because I'm at risk because I have depression. What?
You heard that.
I'm dead serious.
You heard that.
That is an actual part of the commercial. May or may not be an Olympic swimmer that says it. I was like, wait a minute.
I just hope everybody looks back on all those commercials and all those newscasts and all those TV shows and all those talk shows where they were just talking like you're a POS. You don't go get it, you know, and now then it came out how, well, it doesn't even work. You know, the majority of people that get the C word are the ones that already took it.
Yep.
You know, now you got to get another one, and everybody just falls right in line.
And they're all under fire, and now they're always trying to twist the narrative. The biggest thing with all of this that I want people to focus on is that we've been alive as humans for thousands of years. Thousands.
Arguably hundreds and hundreds of
right,
thousands.
But let's just put it on a base level and call it even 1,000, right? Let's even go smaller. Call it 500 years. Let's go real small and say we've been around for 500 years. Out of the 500 years, medication has been a part of the past 30, 40, maybe 50. Maybe 50. So you tell me humanity has survived for this long, and all I keep seeing is new problems, new medications, new cancers, new issues, new things. And when one doesn't work, you got to add another one to it. Like humans have not evolved to a level that we're just walking diseases.
Well, and here's the thing. I'm going to go back to it. Like, it's time to get back to the basics.
Yeah.
It's time to get back to not feeding your children the crap you buy at Walmart. It's, you know what I mean? Like anything that, I'm sorry. I feel like you should grow a garden. I feel like you should eat organic. I feel like if you could get some chickens, raise your own chickens, like drink different water. Do not drink the water out of your tap. Just like that's how I feel. I wish I would have been in this mindset with my children, because I feel like I've been poisoning them for so long that they're runt.
But we've gone down this rabbit hole long of making it so easy that it's like McDonald's is a kid's place. Period. They advertise it towards kids, for kids. They've got a playground in the place to make it as easy as possible for the parents to go there and shovel a bunch of crap down their kids' throats in extremely large portions and then wonder why we have a way bigger problem with obesity in children than ever before.
My ADHD, obesity, cancer, this, that, the other.
That is not because of anything other than what we are feeding.
I guarantee it.
Our children and ourselves.
And drinking, the things that we're drinking too.
Because we're making it we want to live conveniently and simply, and then we wonder why our life sucks. Because life is not supposed to be convenient and simple. Life is about the chase, about the journey. I don't know why everyone else struggles so much with this. Because when I get done with like a hard day's work, I feel so accomplished and high and on top of the world and like nothing can stop me.
I'd love
I just don't get it.
I would love to dive into as to why, so we have a problem in America right now ever since the C word, if you will. Because unemployment is drastically lowered. We have unemployment rates that are very low. And that's not because people aren't hiring. So I'm not sure I could put my finger on to what the hell, and of course you got the big push like, well, why would I go to work and make, X amount of money and I can't support my family. So I'm just not, so what? You're not going to work?
It has created some of the laziest people I've ever seen in my life.
Well, and then they created that problem by.
But it was based off of a fear, right? But then people got comfortable because when you lock someone in their home, and then they just realize, well, hey, here I am.
And then they give, then the government gave them money.
Now my ass was taking 2x4s and building an actual rack for my bench press so I could bench press at home with 2x4s. I built one out of 2x4s so I could still work out.
I was building a 12-foot tall fence.
Yeah. But we have more underdeveloped children because they spent so far away from the education system. And let's face it, most of your parents should not be teaching your kids anything except for morals and that you don't deserve trophies for walking outside.
It's just, I just want to know what the hell the issue is with that right now. I guess just people they got used to staying locked in their home for 2 years and then getting a check for it.
Fear.
They got a check for it, right?
It's fear.
What they call those stimulus checks and all that good stuff, and they got this discount and all that. Okay, honey.
That's okay. No, she brings up a good point. High fructose corn syrup, right? And then we just talked about this. The
aspartame.
Not aspartame, the other one you were just talking about in the water, and I don't know why I'm having this brain issue because probably I ate McDonald's on the way here.
Fluoride.
Fluoride is also illegal in every country.
Yeah.
All these things that we do in America, look it up. Go look up the ingredients and just go take a bag of potato chips and take a bag of the normal stuff that's pumped in and look up the ingredients and see where they're legal.
That's what I want to. That's what I want to pump to you. Literally, you guys are feeding.
Do your own research.
You do this for everybody who has children buys cereal, right?
Yeah.
Probably Lucky Charms or Fruit Loops or something. I double dog dare you to go look at the ingredients on a box of Fruit Loops.
There's probably 20. It won't take you that long to Google them and then look.
No. There is over 100 different ingredients of things you cannot pronounce, of chemicals that you have no idea what they are. And always number one, and this is why I say the things you drink too, because we give our kids drinks, and this is Gatorade, or it's healthy. No, it's not. It's not healthy. The number one ingredient is either sugar, and then the second one is high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is complete poison. It's complete garbage. I dare you to do a little research on it. Look at anything you're feeding or giving your child to drink, and if it's high fructose corn syrup and all the other things, like if it don't have 5 ingredients, don't give it to your kids.
Here's the thing that I also would encourage people to pay attention to is on the back of the box, it'll say calories. It also gives you the amount of grams in how you weigh that food to get those calories. And it's typically 28 grams in cereal to get like 120 calories. Your kid's probably eating 75 grams of that stuff. 300 calories in those calories are carbs, fats, sugars, all these things that are measured, and we go in that some other time, but you're not serving if you did, they make it proportionally accurate. None of your children are eating proportions. They would look at you if you poured 28 grams in there and be like, what is that?
It's like a quarter of a bowl, probably.
It literally is. I've done, when I was in training, we would get like rice checks, and that's what I would carb load with. And then when I would look at what I was carb loading with, I was like,
this is not a size.
This is not. And at first it was a little shocking. But then when I started to actually, there was never a time, except for probably the last week, that I felt like I was starving.
Yeah.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
When you start proportioning your meals, you get used to it. It's that we aren't used to doing this. So the one thing I want to leave people with is that you've been feeding yourself crap. If you're listening to this channel, according to the statistics, at least 22 to 45 years. That's our viewers. So between 22 and 45 years, you have spent pumping crap into your body. You're not going to lose that and recalibrate your body in 6 weeks.
No.
If you go through a crash diet, you will see a drastic change. The side effects to that are hyperthyroidism and all kinds of
you'll gain
other,
it right back.
And it'll come back twice as hard.
It'll come right back.
Because your body's going to panic and think you're trying to kill it. Mm-hmm. Slow and steady is what wins this race.
Like
to do a full body recomp, you have to do it slow. My prep was 9 months. Mm-hmm. Most bodybuilders prep, because they live in a different space, is 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Mine was 9 months because I didn't want to torture myself.
And I'm going to say this too, for those of you who don't know, that 9 months prep that he did, he still has the same body. I swear.
It's because I taught my body how to live in the space, because I took time. And then I didn't give up afterwards. I treat myself, don't get me wrong, but it's with like a red meat burger with a wheat bun and some American cheese.
Right.
That's a cheat meal.
Right.
A cheat meal is not like 47 pounds of pasta that's fully stuffed with GMOs and all kinds of other crap.
Cheesecake afterwards.
That's not even real cheese. Like, we're on this discount diet crap thinking it's going to work, and it doesn't.
Just like with anything, man. If the quick, easy fix is never the route to go. I'm in everything that I want to do. I'm in it for the long game, because I'm just like you. I understand that quick, easy fixes are never. First off, they're not sustainable, and second off, they never work.
Easy come, easy go did not become such a popular slogan because it was just a myth. It's because it's the truth, and it stuck with people, and then people started saying it over and over and over and over, and people were like, yeah, you're right. Easy come, easy go. So if it comes fast, it's going to go fast. Yeah. Most millionaires that make their million within the first year do not survive more than a decade. Right. It's you can do your research. I can sit here and spit facts all day long, but you're just listening to a guy that could be lying to you like the media does. Yep. So why don't you do your own research and then realize we know what we're talking about, and then come back and listen to some more. Because that's what we like to do around here. It's a crap load of research. Don't get me wrong. I watch Hulu and I have my fun and I de-stress in other ways and just entertainment, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But when I get home from work and my wife is working late, I go on YouTube and research. And then I go listen to what they say. And then I get on the internet and I start actually diving deep. And I don't just go to the first page and be like, yep, he's right. And then call it a day.
That's not called research.
I keep going because the last time I talked about SSRIs, when I did research, there was a ton of studies that were like, these are working by all the biggest colleges out there.
Yeah.
And then somebody finally got called out and they're like, oh crap, now we got to backpedal. Mm-hmm. The same institution that said it was okay is the same institution that was forced to write later saying, oh crap.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. You look up a Harvard study back in like 2010 and it would say how great they were.
Yeah.
And then you look up the recent one that's like, yeah, these are definitely not working for people. That's because they had first had their big pump, and they're like, yeah, they're working, and we had no data.
Plus, there was lobbyists involved in that, and they got a brand new building out of it.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, and then they had to rename it last year, so somebody got mad, and they're like, no, we're going to go back on your study.
Thank you for joining us, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Send us over to your friend, and let's go by this slogan, man. Let's talk about it.
Absolutely.
Later, guys.